Part 79. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 781. 15 yuan? Everyone stared, not expecting such a number. For a mere 15 yuan, Mr. Ying sold himself. Not 15 pavilions of all things, not 15 God of War merits, not 15 gold coins. 15 dragon coins. A 9th level war god, 2 9th level war gods, sold themselves for 15 yuan. Second Master Ying felt that he must be seriously ill to do such a thing. He pulled Ying Ai and shook him and shouted, "Sister, please sell yourself too." Ying Yi kicked him away. "Go away, I don't have a brother as cheap as you." Ye Bai took out a 100 note and handed it to Xiaoao. Xiaoao didn't take the money, looked at Ye Bai and said, "No change." Ye Bai. "Then, there's no need to look for it. Xiaoao has always been very strict, look for it." Normally, when meeting such a rigid person, Ye Bai would try to teach him to be more flexible. Pity. Although rigid, he is carefree. That's okay. Ye Bai honestly went to the roadside to change 15 yuan in change, and then gave it to Xiaoao. Xiaoao began to tell Ying Er's fortune. He counted on his fingers. Can live. Shadow 2? Is this the end? If not. Ye Bai rolled his eyes. What else do you want about $5? Xiaoao helps Ying Er tell fortunes in order to cure his illness. In fact, this kind of small problem, in total, does not cause too much damage to Xiaoao itself. Shadow 2 is not a very involved character either. Things like what Xueju wants to calculate involve the direction of the two races, the general trend, especially the most powerful demon god. Things get complicated. After calculating his fortune, Xiaoao began to prescribe medicine to Ying Er. Alive. Shadow 2? Why can't they understand this prescription? Could it be that his madness has become more serious again? Ye Bai had no choice but to patiently help Xiaoao translate. What third brother means is that you should live well during this period and don't die. If you die, there will be no cure for this disease. Everyone. Shura is the only one who can translate Xiaoao's meaning so accurately. Understand? Ying Er nodded repeatedly. Uncle San was right. If he died, wouldn't there be no cure for the disease? Ying Er quickly forgot about selling himself for 15 yuan. He even looked at Shura eagerly and asked seriously. Fourth Master, I have sold myself to the shadows now. If someone wants to kill me, will you save me? Before Ye Bai could reply, Master Ying said in another tone. Help. Fourth Master must have bought us a sky-high insurance policy, and he will also seek compensation from the other party, blah blah blah. Ye Bai. Okay, just watch the excitement. Ye Bai dispersed everyone and gathered them together. How could they behave? Ye Bai turned to look at Xiaoao and asked tentatively. What's next? Xiaoao thought for a while and said, I'm going to the abyss. To the abyss? Ye Bai suddenly became excited, wondering what big job the third brother was planning to do. Xiaoao had heard Zhao Lin say before that he should study and go to the abyss to kill demons. Reading, Xiaoao has done it. Even though it didn't make sense, he did it anyway. Xiaoao is now thinking that it's time to take a trip to the abyss. Ye Bai asked cautiously, going to find the most powerful demon? No. Xiaoao originally planned to say this. Feeling that Ye Bai might have misunderstood, he added. Just kill a demon. Ye Bai. Third brother, can you look at what you said? Just kill a demon god. Even if there is a huge difference in the top combat power between the human race and the demon race. You can't just grab the demon god to improve your results. The most important thing is that the third brother has defeated all the demon gods. Where is Ye Bai? By then, Yabai will not only be the strongest person with the weakest combat power, but even the strongest person with the worst record. Xiaoao left no plan for Yabai to continue talking. Wait for me in the eternal forest. Yabai was stunned, and the Taoist figure was no longer in front of him. Xiaoao went to the abyss. Yabai quickly took the white dog and rushed towards the eternal forest. In fact, before Yabai arrived at the eternal forest, Xiaoao came back. Just like what he said, it was just a matter of killing a demon. How much effort would it take? Yabai, actually, it still takes a lot of effort. When Xiaoao returned to the eternal forest, he held a demon's head in his hand and threw it beside the Death Will monument. The demon blood soaked into the Death Will monument and was quickly absorbed. Yabai on the side didn't know what to say for a moment. Go to the abyss and kill a demon. Yabai can actually do this kind of thing now. It's nothing more than spending more effort, using more trump cards, and fighting for your life. The results are the same. But if he wants to achieve the level of Xiaoao, Yabai still needs some heat for the time being. Standing in front of the death monument, Xiaoao pondered for a moment before slowly speaking. Xueju is right. Xiaoao looked at the many names on the death tablet, then looked down at the devil's head, shook his head and said, "Killing demons is really not interesting. I was bitten by an old thief from the underworld, and I am quite busy on weekends, please understand. This is the first update today and will be updated tomorrow. Online games, only I can see hidden information." Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 782. Killing demons is no fun. This kind of thing is indeed what the eldest brother can say. But Yabai looked at the demon god's head in front of him, feeling that the other person's death was a bit unfair. In order to verify Xueju's words, he actually paid the price with his life. Yabai's attention did not stay on the demon god for too long, but he quickly noticed the extraordinary nature of the death monument. He was weak before, so he couldn't tell any clues. Now that his strength was a little stronger, Yabai was surprised to find that this death monument contained a very terrifying weapon. A sword. Yabai looked directly at the sword in front of him. Although it was hidden in the death monument and had not appeared in the world for decades, it was still one of the best weapons in the world. If Yabai guessed correctly, this sword should be the second brother's broken sword. Yabai heard from his second brother. The broken sword was hidden by Lan Bangxian and others. To prevent Wuhan from being in a good mood one day and directly carrying the broken sword to find trouble with the most powerful demon god. This sword is stronger than the heavenly king sword. Nurtured by the human race's century-old will to die, when the sword is drawn, there is death but no life. The enemy is there and must be destroyed. Yabai couldn't help but be a little surprised. Logically speaking, Yabai should be burdened a lot by staring at the broken sword. Why doesn't Yabai feel anything now? Yabai couldn't help but think, could it be that his strength had grown so much that he could look directly at the broken sword? I, Shura, am really too strong. Yabai turned around and found that the white dog was rolling on the ground, and the dog's eyes were full of tears. Yabai. If Shura feels that the world is peaceful, then there must be a white dog carrying the burden forward. Yabai withdrew his gaze to avoid looking too embarrassed. Brother, what are you busy with now? Xiaoao stood in front of the memorial monument and spoke after a long time. Let the devil come over. Yabai. Even as a gold medal translator, he can't keep up with Xiaoao's rhythm now. Xiaoao patiently explained. The great demon god, the second demon god, the fifth demon god, the eighth demon god, and the ninth demon god. Let them come to the human world. Only then did Yabai realize that he was being asked to invite the devil to visit him. The demon god Xiaoao killed before, if Yabai read it correctly, should be the 11th demon god. After all the calculations, there are 8 demons left, 1, 2, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 13. Xiaoao named 5 of them, but left 10, 12, and 13 unnamed. Ye Bai was slightly startled. What does this mean? Should they be killed by name or by those without naming them? For a moment, Ye Bai was a little unsure. Leaving aside the fact that the great demon god is destined to die, the second demon god is also likely to be short-lived. The fifth demon is the most special, so I will put it aside for now. The eighth demon god is the demon god supported by Prince Huang and Ye Baixin. The ninth demon god is an undercover agent appointed by Yingju. These few have more or less special identities. Since Xiaoao gave the order, Ye Bai should work hard on himself and take a trip to the abyss. Say it as if you can choose. The white dog with swollen eyes followed Ye Bai sickly. It feels more and more now that it came to this world to endure hardships. Bai Go never expected that the price Xiu Go had to bear for using his ability would actually be transferred to him. The most frightening thing is that Xiu Go also knew about this. Bai Go felt that his future was dark. It even wanted to encourage Ye Bai, how about we go fight the strongest demon first? Today's Ye Bai, regardless of the strongest, is already among the top of the human race. Relying on his own strength, he can easily cross the two realms. There is no need to worry about the threat of the devil. Demon God. He will never come back. Ye Bai first appeared in the first abyss. There was gold everywhere here and he liked it very much. Boss, stop sleeping and go to Blue Star. Ye Bai looked at the big demon lying on the ground and kicked him twice. The great demon god opened his eyes, looked at Ye Bai, and asked, if I join the human race now, can I exchange my life? Cannot. Ye Bai said simply. The culprit who killed Xueju was this guy. People who want to kill the big devil can form a long queue. King Huo Tian wanted to kill, Xuemeng wanted to kill, Ye Bai wanted to kill. As long as the strong man in the human race has the ability to kill him, he will have the motive to kill him. The great demon god was silent for a moment, and then asked again, can I let Xueju decide my life or death? The great demon god is very confident in the idea of human beings resurrecting Xueju. If Xueju cannot be resurrected, he will be dead. Ye Bai showed a harmless smile and said in a low voice. Cannot. The murderous intent in Ye Bai's eyes was not concealed at all, it was so intense that it was almost substantial. Soon, these murderous intentions were swept away. The great demon god's fear only deepened. Ye Bai said calmly and confidently. For the next 36 years, I will be the strongest, and I will have the final say. Old thief from the underworld, I want you to help me practice, there are still 4,000 words left tonight. Code hard. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 783. Without giving the great demon god a chance to continue speaking, Ye Bai turned around and left, leaving only the silhouette of a white dog behind. It's so exciting to just show off and run away. After leaving the first abyss, Ye Bai traveled far away, specifically to the second abyss, and found the gray-headed second demon. Hey, who demolished your demon emperor's palace? Looking at the worthless demon emperor's palace, Ye Bai sighed, feeling that there was nothing to gain from this trip. Naturally, he set his sights on the second demon. Compared with the great demon god, the second demon god enjoys the same level of treatment. He was also lying on the ground at this moment, unable to move due to being suppressed by Third Master Ying. When the second demon god saw Ye Bai coming, especially when he noticed that Ye Bai was not even willing to wear a mask, he immediately understood what was going on. You crossed that line. Ye Bai shook his head. He is now considered to have the strongest combat power, and he can clearly feel that a natural chasm lies in front of him. Only by becoming the strongest can one cross this line. In other words, as long as Xiaoao does not retreat, Ye Bai is destined to have no chance of becoming the strongest. If possible, Ye Bai certainly hopes that Xiaoao will always stay in the strongest position and never retreat. How refreshing it feels to have someone above your head holding up the sky for you. The key is, as long as Xiaoao does not retreat, he will not die. Ye Bai put away the distracting thoughts in his heart, looked at the second demon, and said casually, "My third brother asked you to go to the human world." Third brother? You. World. The second demon god knew every word Ye Bai said, but when they were put together, how could the second demon god not understand them? Third brother, judging from Shura's shamelessness, the second demon god could guess that it was Xiaoao. So good, why are you asking them to go to the human world? Don't go. The second demon god had a rare moment of toughness and shouted dissatisfied. Even if you want to kill me, at least let me die in the abyss. Let you die in the abyss so that you can find a way to resurrect. The second demon god hadn't been hardened for 3 seconds when a strong man with fire all over his body walked out of the passage, stopped in front of Ye Bai, grinned and said, "Good morning, fourth master. How early is it?" Seeing Ying-san, Ye Bai was in a good mood. He walked up to him, looked at him, and punched Ying-san on the shoulder. How did it get like this? The flames on Ying-san's body are endless, burning Ying-san's origin all the time. Today's Cage-san seems to have a strong aura, but in fact, his strength is not at its peak and is declining. Needless to say the reason, Ye Bai could guess what was going on. If he wants to pull the sun forward in the abyss of power, Third Master Ying will definitely have to pay a price. If it is not resolved properly, Third Master Ying's future strength will continue to decline. Fortunately, this problem is only a little tricky. With such intensity, Ye Bai is best at doing small things. Ye Bai couldn't handle anything that was more difficult. Do not move. Ying-san hesitated for a moment, then took the scroll and slashed downwards, nailing Ye Bai into the ground. He has come in, but the white dog has not. Ye Bai nodded and said affirmatively. After waking up, Ye Bai took out 2 more scrolls and asked Ying-san to help him, first chop himself and then the white dog. White dog. Ye Bai used his right eye to help Ying-san get rid of the flames on his body, but the flames did not disappear out of thin air, but transferred to Baigo. Something's wrong with me. It may be quite late, so everyone should go to bed early and watch it tomorrow morning. Ye Bai stared at Mr. Ying, and the flames on him began to be drawn away bit by bit. After entering the dream, Ye Bai realized that he had miscalculated. He couldn't help it anymore and asked, "Fourth Master, are you really okay?" After saying hello to the child, Ye Bai explained that he wanted to bring something in, so he exited the dreamland first. Use this to chop me. The old thief from the underworld is online. He blinked his big watery eyes, pulled Ye Bai's sleeves, pointed at the white dog, and asked seriously. Only then did Third Master Ying turn around and tear open the sword energy scroll. A stream of sword energy surged out and struck Ye Bai's body without pain or itching. Ye Bai. Shadow 3. Since Shura requested it, Ying-san could only satisfy Fourth Master. Ye Bai took out a scroll, handed it to Ying-san, and ordered. The white dog on the side, fuck. It's on fire. This is the first time that Third Master Ying has heard of such a strange request in his life. I mean, take apart the scroll and chop me. These flames formed a vortex, entered Ye Bai's right eye, and was absorbed. It's not a problem to keep burning like this. This place is not far from the abyss of the strongest, and the Wi-Fi signal is good. Ye Bai quickly entered the dreamland he needed to enter. Looking at the burning white dog, the child almost cried. After Ying-san Zao was done. I'm fine. Under the influence of I didn't know I was a guest in my dream, Ye Bai quickly fell asleep. One more update, have a late night snack first, then finish eating. The burning white dog no longer knows how to express his feelings in words at this moment. One person and one dog soon appeared in the dream space. Does it have to be roasted before it can be eaten? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 784. The burning white dog looked at Yebai pitifully, expecting Yebai to say a few good words for him. Of course it knows the true identity of the child in front of it. If a child really wants to eat himself, can you pull yourself out completely? Baigo began to think about this problem. Yebai cleared his throat, touched the child's head, and advised. This is not for food. Oh. The child wiped his saliva, obviously a little disappointed. If the elder brother says you can't eat it, then don't eat it. The white dog, who had survived the disaster, lost his limbs and collapsed to the ground. Do Big Brother a favor and get rid of this fire. Yebai's idea is simple. The flames on Ying San's body come from the Son of the Supreme Abyss. In other words, it was originally part of the power of the most powerful demon god. Who wouldn't the power of the most powerful demon be given to? Let me ask, who in the world is more suitable to swallow this flame than a child? Although Yebai is a little weaker, he may be the strongest among the strongest when it comes to coaxing children. Is there a possibility that other powerful people don't need to coax children? Yebai. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The child stretched out a finger and flicked it gently. The flames on the white dog rolled and gathered into a fireball at the child's fingertips. Very good, you finally have a ball to play with when you are free. Although this fireball can smash a powerful 9th level war god into pieces with just one hit. But in front of a child, it is just a ball. Yebai chatted with the child for a few words, and then dug out a pile of books, as well as children's literacy books and the like. White dog. You really treat your children like children. You must know that the power this child possesses is the strongest except for the strongest human beings and the strongest demon god. Even Yebai couldn't defeat the opponent at this time. In other words, the kindness shown by the children to Yebai is largely due to the fact that Yebai is a harmless animal. Thank you for what happened before. Although Yebai likes prostitution, he usually does it with his own people. For example, Shuemeng, Shuemeng, Shuemeng. Yebai is walking in the long river of time, and the children help pay the price, so Yebai needs to show some expression. In this way, it will be easier to collect wool better in the future. I can only say that it is you as expected. He is still the same boy as before. After a brief communication with the child, Yebai found that there was nothing he could do to help him for the time being. If there was anything he could do to look after the nightmare in this dream space, he would naturally do it. After chatting, Yebai said goodbye and made an agreement with the child to see him again after a while. After leaving the dream space, Yebai returned to the second abyss and glanced at the second demon god still lying on the ground. Yebai ignored the other party, but looked at Ying San and said seriously. Third Master, my third brother asked this guy to go to the human world, but he refused to go. Ying San nodded, indicating that he understood. Third Master Ying took 2 steps forward, took out the mace, and hit the second demon god hard on the face. Boom. Boom. It was just 2 sticks, and the second demon was dying and could not utter a complete sentence. Ying San looked at the dying second demon, scratched his head, turned to look at Yebai and asked. I only said to let the second demon go, but I didn't say which second demon, right? Second demon god. Yebai smiled, the original is the best, don't force it. After saying that, Yebai turned and left. Behind him came the sound of the second demon gnashing his teeth. I go. Boom. Shadow Trinity used its mace to beat the second demon to death on the spot. The second demon god who came back from the dead was furious and cursed. I told you I would go, Why do you still want to kill me? You don't follow martial ethics. Ying San also had something to say and asked. If I kill you, do you still have to choose a date? Second demon god. What Ying San said made sense, but he couldn't refute it. After leaving the second abyss, Ye Bai ran to the fifth abyss. Of course, he failed to find the fifth demon god and only saw Xiao Ziao. Ye Bai directly outsourced the task of delivering the message to the other party. Xiao Ziao was on the verge of crying, "Boss, where can I find my leader? He has been going crazy these days. Even if I find him, he may not be able to understand me if I bring him my words. I don't care." At this moment, Ye Bai fully showed Party A's face. "Anyway, I'll leave the words here. When the time comes, the devil must arrive, otherwise you will bear the consequences." Listening to such a domineering declaration, Xiao Ziao felt a little complicated for a while. The human race is indeed powerful. You can tell the devil at your own risk. Regardless of whether Shura was embarrassed or not before, at least Shura now really has the most powerful demeanor. This can be seen from the fact that he dares to run around in the entire abyss without any bodyguards. In the abyss, I'm afraid there is no opponent for Shura. Ye Bai went to the remaining abyss and brought the words there. As for whether the demon gods would listen or not, Ye Bai didn't care. If the demon gods don't come, there is no need for Xiao Ao to take action. Ye Bai alone with Xue Meng, Xie Venan, Lan Bangxian, Wang Tianwang and other strong men can kill the demon gods. Is it possible that you can kill the demon god alone? Ye Bai seriously criticized Danian's dangerous idea. Alone better together. Ye Bai grinned and said confidently. Besides, if you take this group of bosses to defeat the demon god to improve your record, it's reasonable for each person to charge a group fee. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 785. Soon, Ye Bai finished notifying all the demon gods. As for when he would come and where he was going, he didn't say a word. Xiao Ao didn't mention it either. When Ye Bai returned to Blue Star, there was no trace of Xiao Ao in the Eternal Forest. Judging from Ye Bai's experience, the third brother has probably returned to Nanjiang City. Ye Bai went back to his home in Nanjiang City first. What happened? Ye Bai looked at the scene in front of him and fell into silence. His home seemed to have been robbed, but it seemed like there had been no robbers. The house is very clean, so clean that most of the things are gone. Before Ye Bai had time to get angry, he saw Su Qingfeng and others coming back carrying new furniture. Su Qingfeng, the dignified 9th-level god of war, was carrying a sofa, with second master Ying lying on the sofa. Ye Bai rolled his eyes. Where's my original sofa? Second master Ying quickly jumped up from the sofa, raised his hands. I know. Ye Bai encouraged the other party with his eyes and continued talking. At the same time, Ye Bai's hand was already on the Heavenly King's sword, ready to take action at any time. The second master Ying proudly announced the answer. I ate. Boom. The aftermath of the fight between Ye Bai and Ying Er instantly knocked Su Qingfeng away. Su Qingfeng. He left the scene silently, not giving the two more opportunities to humiliate each other. Eternal Forest. This is where the Abyss and the Blue Star connect. On weekdays, the Eternal Forest is extremely quiet. Today, there were a few visitors. The four shadows responsible for guarding the Eternal Forest were the first to feel something strange. When they rushed to the scene of the incident, they were isolated and unable to move forward. A mysterious force stopped them. Zhao Ziyan rushed several times, but failed to break through this invisible barrier, and could not see clearly what was happening inside. Within the barrier, the 5 demon gods stood quietly without saying anything. Except for the big devil, all the other devils came in their true form. As for the great demon god, his true form has been lying quietly on the ground, and only one incarnation came. Opposite the demon gods, there was a middle-aged man with a vague face, smiling at the corner of his mouth, silently looking at the 5 demon gods. The 5th demon looked at the other party and said dissatisfiedly, "Aren't you dead?" The remnant soul of the nightmare smiled helplessly and said nothing. "If you're dead, just calm down." The 5th devil rubbed his brow and cursed. "Your human race is not in the same situation as before. One more of you is not more, and one of you less is not more." The expressions of the other demon gods were a little strange. They always thought that the relationship between the 5th demon god and Nightmare was very bad. So bad that after Nightmare died, he tortured the 5th demon god to madness. Who would have thought that after the two met, there would be no conflict as expected, but more like old friends who had been separated for many years. The other demon gods will certainly not be as arrogant as the 5th demon god. In front of nightmares, all demon gods maintain sufficient humility and respect. They know very well that this is the foundation of the human race. Coming to the eternal forest with your true body is a sign of weakness, putting your life on the opponent's chopping board, like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Of course, except for the 5th devil, he is here to die. Not to mention, the human race is now at ease. If you really want to kill the demon god, why not just take a quick trip? Xiaoao has proven with actual actions that there is no difference between level 1 and level 1000 in front of him. Other demon gods do not have such a life-threatening spirit as him, so naturally they can only succumb to him. The 5th demon god came back, looked at the remnant soul of the nightmare, and asked a question. The 5th devil bought 2 pancakes, but did not leave immediately. 5th demon god. The 5th demon god is still arrogant. 2 pancakes. The 5th demon suddenly said, walking towards the roadside. In other words, below the most powerful demon god, there is no enemy of Xiaoao Yi. The 5th demon was puzzled. Why? Xiaoao is waiting for you all in Nanjiang City. After saying that, he turned around and left, turning into a stream of light and disappearing into the sky. Want to risk your life? 5 demon gods appeared on the street. Except for the 5th demon god who was wearing a dragon robe, the other demon gods looked normal. The demon gods did not waste any time and rushed directly to Nanjiang City. The most critical thing is that the 5th demon god has a huge advantage, he is really not afraid of death. With a pancake in each hand, he stood next to the pancake stall. He turned to look at the 4 demon gods behind him and asked seriously. Nanjiang City. Nightmare replied firmly. Nightmare looked at the 5 demon gods and smiled lightly. Nightmare hesitated for a moment and said a little embarrassedly. Even the great demon god seems to have figured out some things these days, and he respects the 5th demon god more and more. I am hungry. Risk your life. These 4, in terms of strength, are all below the 5th demon god. You are dead and I am still alive. Back then, if I had tried my best to stop you and prevent you from going to the abyss, would things have been different? Won't. Which one of you has money? The 5th demon god will be the first to bet with you. After he made a move, other demon gods naturally followed. The great demon god, the 2nd demon god, the 8th demon god, and the 9th demon god. You can't stop me. With that said, he pointed the direction to the demon gods. Anyway, the other person is crazy, he is not. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 786. Money. The demons and gods looked at each other with big eyes and small eyes, unable to give out $1. As demon gods, when have they ever used human money in their lives? Besides, who dares to accept their money? The demon god has never suffered this kind of injustice in his life. The great demon god frowned slightly and said dissatisfiedly, "Let's just go, a few pancakes, what's the big deal? If you default on your debt, just default on your debt. Anyway, they may not be able to repay the debt they owe to the human race even at the cost of their lives. You are about to be beheaded, why do you care about a few pancakes and fruits?" Before the fifth demon god could speak, a lazy voice came from the roadside. "My third brother also paid for buying pancakes from this restaurant." The demon gods turned their heads and looked at the person who made the sound. "I saw a man in white with a long sword on his waist, squatting on the curb, bullying the madman and patting the white dog on the head." Seeing the other person alone, the demon gods were stunned again. When did Shura become so bold? How dare you appear in front of the 5 demon gods? The demon gods then thought, Xiaoao was in Nanjiang City, so it would be fine. The only reason Shura dares to be arrogant is because he has a backer. Now that Shura has spoken out, if he doesn't pay today, it may be difficult to end it. When the demon gods are helpless. The second demon stood up. He took out a 100 million dragon coin, handed it to the other party, and asked seriously. "Enough. Are you crazy?" The pancake seller almost cursed, "How can there be a banknote with a face value of 100 million in this world? Are you here to cause trouble on purpose?" Then, at the insistence of the second devil, the boss put the 100 million banknote into the banknote detector. Drop. This is a real coin. Boss. He never expected that there were actually 100 million banknotes in the world. He never imagined that someone would take 100 million banknotes and buy pancakes worth 5 yuan. The owner of the pancake stall timidly returned the 100 million banknotes and expressed politely, "Can't find it? The family is poor." How could he, a pancake seller, have thought that someone would spend so much money to buy 2 pancakes? The fifth demon god silently took out a check, which read, 35,475 meritorious service of the god of war. However, the cashing time of this check is a bit far away, probably 100 years later. The 100 million yuan note came from Xuemeng's hand. This check was given by Ye Bai to the fifth demon god. It can be seen that among the strong people of the human race, there are indeed not many people with quality. This is even harder to find. You said these demon gods are rich, they are indeed rich. The payment is 100 million, or even tens of thousands of checks for the god of war's merits. But none of this money can be used. This embarrassing situation suddenly made the pancake stall owner unable to deal with it. In the end, it was Ye Bai who came forward to solve the problem. He snatched the banknote from the second demon god's hand and stuffed it into his pocket. He took out another 10 yuan and paid for the fifth demon god. Everyone is happy. Demon gods. Are you so concerned about this small amount of money? After solving this little episode, Ye Bai prepared to take many demon gods to see his third brother. The fifth demon interrupted him and asked, "Where is the happy duo cake shop? Take me there first." Ye Bai. What the hell? In the human race territory, who is your boss or me? Are you teaching me how to do things? Before Ye Bai could get mad, the fifth demon pointed at Ying Er not far away and said seriously, "You shouldn't have brought Ying Er so close to me. Second Master Ying? You may not know how strong I can become as long as I eat him." The fifth demon god twisted his neck, and his cervical vertebrae made a sound like fried soybeans. Does it sound good? It sounds good, but it's bad for the cervical spine. Ye Bai was happy. Are you threatening me? Even if the fifth demon god eats Ying Er, it is impossible for him to cause fatal damage to Ye Bai. Ye Bai has this confidence. The fifth demon god saw his confidence and sneered. It's true that I can't kill you, but I can kill it. The fifth demon pointed his finger at the roadside. It was the white dog who was playing happily with Ying Er. White dog. White dog and Shadow Er hugged each other and began to tremble together. Why are they having a banquet together while they are chatting happily? The fifth demon god, who is part of the most powerful demon god, is really willing to go all out. Killing a gobai may not be enough, but killing a white dog is more than a mistake. Yabai glanced at Baigo and cursed in a low voice, "Why did you come out? Are you looking for trouble?" The white dog also drooped his head. He regretted it. If you are threatened twice in one day, you might as well just die. Okay, I'll take you to the cake shop first. Yabai kicked Ying Er and asked Ying Er to lead the way. Soon, a group of demon gods came to a dilapidated cake shop. The hygiene standards here were very worrying. There was only a big man picking his feet sitting in the shop, and there was no business at all. Seeing this scene, the fifth demon's expression became even more gloomy. He waved his hand and commanded, "Smash it for me." Yabai rolled his eyes and was too lazy to talk to him. Although he came to the territory of the human race, the fifth demon looked much more awake and no longer as crazy as before. "But who are you? If you ask me to smash it, I will smash it." Yabai had the capital not to take action, but Xiao Ziyao didn't. He had been following the demon gods, so he had no choice but to step forward, greet his boss and leader, and introduce himself. "Everyone, I have rich experience in the demon cult. If any of you want to rebuild the demon cult, you can give me priority. This is my business card." "Hey, great demon god leader, are you still alive? Great. When will my salary be paid? I have been offering sacrifices to you, but there has been no response." All the demon gods took a business card of Xiao Ziyao. He just walked into this cake shop and started smashing the shop. This store is a century-old brand. More than 90 years ago, Ying Er once bought a cake here as a souvenir after running away from home for 100 years, and planned to give it to his father more than 90 years later. They asked the boss to write 2 lines on the cake. "It's been 100 years since we ran away from home. I wish Dad good health and our family a long life." There is a single chapter at the back to share with you some of the old thief's thoughts. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 787. Let me talk about something with you. It is a summary and reflection of writing this book today. It may be a bit verbose. I hope you can read it patiently. The original concept of this book was divided into 2 major stages. The first half tells the story of 3 powerful men and a pendant, and the second half tells the story of the most powerful human race, Shura. Within this framework, the plot of the entire book unfolds bit by bit. When I first wrote this book, I was recovering from a serious illness, and my asthma was a little better. 2 days before I started writing this book, I was still lying in bed unable to move due to lumbar muscle strain. Even the beginning I sent to the editor was only 2,000 words long, so the editor asked me to just send the book out. The entire creation at the beginning was carried out in a very poor state. At that time, I also thought that when I first got Tomato, I would try it out as the first book I wrote. It would be best to eat it with a small amount of food, or just drink soup if you don't have food. This brings about a very bad chain reaction. There are indeed 8 lines written at the beginning. The Old Thief has changed the beginning of several versions. Under the current framework, the changes that can be made are limited, so the Old Thief is hopeless. Many friends will find bugs and shortcomings at the beginning, including the setting of ready to go at the beginning, which is childish. What I was thinking at the time was to give the protagonist a cool and invincible damage skill. Then I almost lost the early stage. Although a lot of work was done to make up for it later, the expected foreshadowing was successfully recovered. However, as the plot progresses, the problems at the beginning are like pebbles in the soles of shoes, making walking very uncomfortable. The problem at the beginning is not a big deal. The real feeling of this book comes when the character Shadow 9 is created and the connection between the protagonist and the most powerful person is officially established and gradually gets on the right track. All in all, with today's results, the old thief should give Juyu thumbs up. Juyu urinates. In the original idea, the direction of the plot should be, King Huo Tian fights the great demon to the death, Yingju reveals the truth about Nightmare's death in battle, and braves the abyss of power alone to retain the last fire. But when it came time to issue the knife, the old thief was a little reluctant to do it. To explore this issue from a purely commercial writing perspective, in the battle between Huo Tianwang and the great demon god, exchanging one with the great demon god may be the best ending for the character of Huo Tianwang. The atmosphere has been heightened to this point, and Lao Huo is somewhat rude. Fortunately, Lao Huo has never been a polite person. In the end, the framework was changed and turned into the plot that everyone sees now. In fact, before that episode, the number of readers of this book had been rising. On the contrary, after it was written, the number of readers dropped like a faucet. In other words, this plot choice is considered a failure to a certain extent. According to the established development, the results will be better. Because of this change, the truth about Nightmare's death in battle has been extended from more than 500,000 words to 700 chapters in one go, and its impact on the entire book has been infinitely magnified. After the sword was issued, the old thief felt as if his energy had been drained away, and he suddenly became sleepy. Old thieves now remember that those 2 pages were coded late at night, and they were sent out together after they were written. For such an important plot, let alone 2 pages, even if I write 20,000 words or 50,000 words, I can still write it if I really want to. But when I was writing, there was only one thought in my mind: write it quickly, write it quickly. After so many years of writing books, this is the first time I have ever published a knife. I even got a big one when I came up. Before the reader can break through the defense, the old thief did it first. It was painful to write. Since then, my writing status has actually been very poor, until today. Talking about Ye Bai, the protagonist of this book, we talked for almost 1,000 words in a single chapter. Ye Bai has no role at all, which is a bit out of line. Regarding Ye Bai, the old thief would like to share his thoughts. He is a young man between 18 and 19 years old. At this age, his childishness is still there and he is showing his talents for the first time. Suddenly, he traveled through time, awakened his SSS-level talent, and the mission of saving the world came. Apart from the initial excitement and nervousness, he was more confused and at a loss. Ye Bai didn't know what to do. Kill demons. The demons have been driven away, the bloody battle is over, and the human race is fending off the enemy, and it is not his turn to go to the battlefield yet. Clean up the demonic cult. Half of the demon cult is under the supervision of strong human beings, and the remaining half is simply the undercover agent of the human race. Play a 1v1 real man battle with the devil? It was somewhat difficult for him. Ye Bai looked at all the options around him and found that the only thing he could do was to break through, become stronger, and survive. Ye Bai has always done these 3 things very well. The dedication of the strongest generations of the human race and the succession of countless strong men are all to leave a safer and better growth environment for future generations. Ye Bai is the most powerful seed that grew up in such an environment. In addition to these things, Ye Bai's restlessness and confusion during adolescence affected him all the time. He will regard Master Zhu as an elder, and Ying San as a friend. When gathering De Menzies wool, he will not forget to find someone to help him make weapons. Xuemeng aside, Ye Bai's general ledger has always been losing money. Even if Rick deducts the wages of his subordinates on weekdays, those who Ye Bai deducted really do not live on their wages. They just go to the battlefield and kill the demon war god, and the money is enough. Except Su Qingfeng. When Ye Bai was in a confused state, no one had ever asked him when he was selected, whether he was willing to be the most powerful seed, whether he was willing to save the world, and whether he was willing to risk his life with the most powerful demon god. Fortunately, the people Yebai met were willing to ask him. The old thief followed his habit and chose an auspicious number. After the battle between Xiaoao and the most powerful demon god, the most powerful demon god will still be alive. This is the fact that Yebai knows, and this is the fate calculated by Xiaoao. Nightmare is the first strongest human being, and Wuhan is the most lethal human being. For the next book, I plan to write a story about the growth of a truly powerful person, which will be more passionate and exciting. However, after finishing writing Xueju's plot, I always felt that I wanted to write it to the end quickly and press the accelerator button for Xueju's resurrection. Only then did the most powerful person ask Yebai. After the battle between Shura and the most powerful demon, the most powerful demon will still be alive. I don't want to die for the common people, I want to live for the common people. The path Yebai took was never easy. Remember, you are always the chosen one of your world. Correct. Therefore, the second half of the plot will be slightly deleted. It will be finished on August 30th. The old thief will take a day off and start a new book on September 1st. The haze on Yebai's head and the pressure on his shoulders were always great. Back to the topic. Only then did Yebai's answer come. Are you willing to be the strongest? I hope that everyone can be treated gently by the world like Yebai in life. Wuhan fought to the death with the seriously injured demon god. The result, the demon god's injuries worsened and Wuhan was on the verge of death. If Yebai is not willing, Nightmare, Wuhan, and Xiaoao can all pay for his choice and help the human race smoothly transition to the next era of powerful seeds. Just imagine, faced with such a situation, desperate, helpless, fighting for a cause that cannot be seen, risking your own life or even the lives of several generations, only to end up with a high probability of failure. This book can be made public and will never change the setting. The most powerful demon is the most powerful existence, and the most powerful demon can only be killed by 9 generations of the most powerful human beings fighting to the death. Nightmare and the most powerful demon god fought to the death. The result, the most powerful demon god was seriously injured and Nightmare died. This is why the old thief told everyone before that this book will have 3 million words. Because he is really not safe. This sentence represents Yebai's transformation from immaturity to maturity, from confusion to determination, from passively accepting the chosen son to actively shouldering the responsibility of the most powerful seed. Next month, August 30th, will be the 300th day since the opening of this book. It should be finished on this day. The overall length is about 2 million words. Deduct 1 to resurrect Xueju, 111, 1111. In the original plan, after the battle between Xiaoao and the most powerful demon, the human race would usher in the Shura era, and the length should be the same as the previous large plot, which was a base of 1.5 million words. This book is a gentle story, I hope you will like it. Qin Huang was able to kill people in public at the age of 14, but when he saw King Qin, he was so frightened that he could not walk. Some things are easy to think of, but when you actually do them, they are like carrying thousands of mountains on your shoulders. There is a long way to go. At last. This is why Lan Lao repeatedly mentioned one thing in his research report: Shura needs a sense of security. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 788. Happy Duo cake shop was smashed. Xiao Xiao fully demonstrated to the demon gods how a person in the demon sect can do bad things. He first spent money to buy the cake shop, then rushed into the cake shop with a sledgehammer and smashed everything. In less than 5 minutes, the mission of the 5th demon was completed. The 5th demon god was very satisfied. At the same time, he took 300 million yuan bills from the 2nd demon god and stuffed them into Xiao Xiao's hand. Renovate this store and trash it until the money runs out. Xiao Xiao? Leader, are you kidding me? Are you here to entertain the family? Considering the identity of the opponent's fifth demon god and fully assessing the strength gap between the two sides, Xiao Ziyao decided to endure it one more time. Smash it? It's just, he looked at the banknotes in his hand and almost cursed. Who is so wicked to print such a large denomination? 100 million, who can spend it? Isn't this appalling? Just when Xiao Ziyao was about to curse, Ye Bai Yuyo said at the side. This is printed by Shui Meng. Oh, Mr. Shui. That's okay. Shui Meng is a capable person, and he can really pull out the demon's wool. Xiao Ziyao immediately beamed with joy and began to renovate the Happy Duo cake shop. Looking at the construction debris on the ground, Mr. Ying asked a very fatal question. Can I eat it? Xiao Ziyao. He suddenly felt that the strong men of the human race had some problem with their brains. Is the reason why I am not strong enough because it is too normal? Ye Bai and the fifth demon god almost shouted in unison. Cannot. The second shadow, the son of the fifth devil, is picking up garbage everywhere on the ground to eat. How unbecoming he is. After the farce, the fifth devil lost his temper and waved his hand with great domineering force. Lead the way. Ye Bai's face turned gloomy. He doesn't look like a powerful seed, but more like a little boy who is ordered around. However, the fifth demon god does have the strength to be tough. Not convinced? If you don't accept it, beat me to death. Ye Bai wouldn't argue with a madman. Especially after guessing the identity of the other party, Ye Bai didn't know what to say about the fifth demon. You could say that this guy is extremely guilty, and that's true. Most things were caused by this bastard, and killing him 1,000 times would not be enough. If he really wanted to kill the fifth demon, Ye Bai mainly didn't have the strength. It is impossible for the fifth demon god to successfully commit suicide. How many demon gods have dreamed of something, but now it is placed in front of them, and Xiao actually asks them if they are willing. Ye Bai took several demon gods to an artificial lake. Before the demon gods arrived, Su Qingfeng didn't notice anything, but Shui Meng's expression darkened, thinking that with Xiao by his side, it was probably okay. I definitely want to. They originally thought that when they came to the human world this time, they would be sending Meituan takeaways to their doorsteps. Even the lost strength will slowly recover. Ye Bai brought the demon god to Xiao, then took the initiative to step aside and watch with cold eyes. Do you really want to send me 1111? Before the demon gods could speak, the fifth demon god answered first. He first defected from the eternal temple, sneaked into the eighth abyss, and achieved the position of the eighth demon god. He is holding a bamboo pole. The other end of the bamboo pole has no thread and is suspended in the air. There is a fish basket beside him. Fish kept crossing into the fish basket from the lake. Then barbecue, then fish. Which of you wants to go to the upper world? Deduct one and get a ticket to the upper bound. Demon gods? Don't you just want to go to the upper world? Then, in order to have a chance to ascend to the upper world, Poseidon took the risk and chose to join the most powerful demon god. However, he was defeated by Ying Er, which put Shura's life in danger. A barbecue stall was set up next to it. Shui Meng was busy killing fish, and Master Su had already started burning charcoal. Cleverness is misled by cleverness. From this perspective, as long as the Poseidon endures for a while, an opportunity to go to the upper world will appear in front of him. On the human side, those who are willing to kill the fifth demon god are incompetent, and those who are capable do not want to kill him. A Taoist is sitting here fishing. Where is the relationship between him and the most powerful demon god? The most powerful demon god will not kill him, but is more willing to eat him back again. This old boy, Poseidon, has worked hard all his life, for what? Someone from the city defense department stepped forward to stop their behavior of destroying the environment. Who would have thought that Xiao would ask them if they were willing to go to the upper world? Su Qingfeng, who regained his status as a 9th-level war god, paid the fine directly. The only demon god that can defeat Yebai is probably the 5th demon god, who has 100% chance of starting a group. It was only then that the 5th demon god jumped to this day, going crazy and extremely arrogant. Xiaoao put away the bamboo pole, looked back at the demon gods behind him, and asked. Shura gritted his teeth and killed Poseidon alone. The source of burning will automatically stop when it falls to a certain level. Upper realm. But, even dogs won't go there. Even Yebai, who was listening in, expressed his dissatisfaction with the sea god. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 789. No dogs are going? The expressions of the 4 demon gods changed slightly, but this was not the first time that they were humiliated by the 5th demon god. Everyone is used to 5th brother's bad habits. However, Xuemeng noticed that Shura's face was also very ugly. Xuemeng then remembered that Shura refused to go to the upper world more than once. At this moment, Xuemeng wanted to say something to the 5th demon god. Brother, that's so right, brother. Upper bound? It's just a dog licking that was rejected by the dog twice. However, Yebai is so broad-minded that he will naturally not stick to trivial matters. Say it as if you can restrain it. Tanyan didn't say a word. You don't have the ability, you know? The situation has become very clear. Except for the 5th demon god, the other demon gods are willing to leave the land of right and wrong and go to the upper world. I wanna go. I want, to. The great demon god hesitated for a moment and then admitted that he wanted to go. Xuemeng sneered, just eat it if you want. Want to escape? Snort. No way. The great demon god's debt is a dead debt and must be settled clearly. After listening to the other party's reply, Xiaoao continued. After going to the upper world, you may still die after a while, or life may be worse than death. He has been candid. With Xiaoao's strength, it is not difficult to kill a demon god. It is not difficult to forcefully send the devil to the upper realm. The problem is, Xiaoao has always been a reasonable person. He has his reasons. You need to explain the risks to the devil in advance. As for what happens next, it has nothing to do with Xiaoao. Die. The second demon smiled. He had just been killed once by Ying San. They, the demon gods, have never had an easy time in this life. Living is a torment. Damn it, how did the devil do it like this? At first, the demons thought that the humans were vulnerable and not a cause for concern. When the nightmare rose, the demons already felt that something was wrong. Soon, the nightmare died, and the demons felt at ease for a few more years. Then, the real nightmare comes. The man, armed with a sword, kills through the abyss. Since then, the demon god of the abyss has been living in the shadow of the strongest human race. Wilhen was seriously injured and Xiaoao came. For more than 30 years, without taking a step out of the eternal tower, Xiaoao's sense of existence seems to have been reduced to a minimum. When he was really waiting for him to take action, 3 demon gods fell from the abyss one after another. In front of Xiaoao, the devil, is vulnerable. To this day, it is difficult for the demon gods to understand how powerful Xiaoao is. They were living a life that was worse than death, with no hope at all. Even if they are in jail, they want to go to jail in a different environment. Looking at the scene in front of him, Su Qingfeng felt angry and funny. 100 years ago, the demons were so arrogant and domineering. The people of the human race will be killed at will, and the land of the human race will be robbed at will. What now? The demon gods stood in line in front of Xiaoao like students, trembling and afraid to speak loudly. For the demon gods, if they can really go to the upper world, it means that their strength will still have the opportunity to go further. Lao Ju has made great contributions to the human race. Before Master Ju left, he did not forget to tell me that I must take care of Lao Ju if I have the chance. Ye Bai takes revenge from morning to night. As if feeling the other party's silent gratitude, Ye Bai patted the ninth demon god on the shoulder and said seriously, "Third brother. You really don't want to go?" The ninth demon god's face darkened. He had indeed swayed, but he didn't expect that the price would be so heavy. He rarely said something rude, but asked instead. Xiaoao thought for a while and shook his head. "What, I should go?" Xiaoao looked at the fifth demon and asked again. "Naturally you will agree. It shouldn't be." He doesn't understand. Except for the madman, the fifth demon god. "I'm afraid you don't know that this most powerful seed of the human race is also the most powerful in terms of being petty." Did it really happen not long ago? Why, at such a critical moment, Shura would suddenly intervene. Upon hearing this, the expression of the ninth demon god, who was originally smiling at the corners of his eyes, gradually solidified. "You're welcome, this is what I should do." "That's okay. When the demon ancestor came to attack you in the ninth abyss, his original intention was to let you, a young boy, take care of him. Who knows, you idiot thought that Yingju was gone, so you were free and just stood by and watched." The fifth demon sneered. "Ninth demon god, Shura, listen to me." The other demon gods all praised the fifth demon god. Seeing that the overall situation was about to be decided, Ye Bai finally couldn't help it and said. After listening to Ye Bai's words, Xiaoao nodded and looked at the ninth demon god. "With the fifth demon god here, you really don't have to worry too much about starting a group." Ye Bai. The fifth demon god stood on the moral high ground and pointed arbitrarily. "You stay. When you mention the past, it's like it happened not long ago." The fifth demon god frowned. Xiaoao was one of the very few, and he was willing to maintain a respectful presence. No trace of revenge, beheaded on the same day. The scene fell into silence again. The ninth demon god has already guessed what is about to happen. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 790. On the way to send the demon god back, Ye Bai comforted the ninth demon god. "Don't think about it, the upper world is not necessarily a good place." Ye Bai meant this sentence sincerely. If it weren't for Xiaoju's sake, Ye Bai would not talk too much and take care of the ninth demon god. For Ye Bai, if he wanted to take revenge on the ninth demon god, he would not resort to Xiaoao's help. Ye Bai can do it by himself. The ninth demon god also figured out something about it at this time. He couldn't believe Ye Bai's personality. But his carefree personality is well known. Ye Bai made it very clear before that the ninth demon god has made great contributions to the human race, so he should take more care of him. Some people may think that Ye Bai is being arrogant and speaking sarcastically. In fact, Ye Bai was really being arrogant and talking sarcastically. However, Xiaoao doesn't understand. Xiaoao took what Ye Bai said literally. Since Ye Bai said that the ninth demon god had done meritorious service to the human race, then those meritorious deeds should be rewarded. Staying is a reward. Ye Bai changed the topic. Looking at it this way, we have settled the matter. After you stay, you will have nothing to do with the human race. Ninth demon god. Others are trying to burn bridges by crossing rivers. What do you think this is? Before anyone can cross the river, you demolish the bridge. Selling flat noodles, right? But the devil is under the eaves, so I have to bow my head. The ninth demon god asked in a good voice. Excuse me, what can I do to continue to serve the human race? Look, he is indeed an undercover agent. This emotional intelligence is high. Let's not talk about meritorious service first. Ye Bai took out an IOU and said seriously. Do you still remember the money you owed the goblins before? The Eos are all here. Take a look, when will you pay them back? The ninth demon god was stunned again. He never expected that he would be suddenly attacked by a 100-year-old IOU. If the goblins came to the ninth demon god today to ask for a debt, it would definitely be without a penny. Who would have thought that these Eos would fall into Shura's hands? Then the nature of the problem is different. Can the money owed to goblins and the money owed to Shura be the same? The ninth demon god expressed very implicitly that he had no money. If you like something in the ninth abyss, just take it. Yabai was not polite and took out a contract. Okay, then you sign this deed of betrayal. The ninth demon god. He only knew Shura was straightforward, but he didn't expect Shura to be so straightforward. After accepting the contract of betrayal, the ninth demon god did not sign it immediately, but said implicitly, "When Master Ju comes back, I'll ask him what he means." Yabai's face didn't change, he nodded in agreement. "Okay, by the way, I only want money. Actually, I don't really care whether the devil is dead or alive. Congratulations on obtaining the ninth demon god's promise contract *1. After sending several demon gods back, Yabai turned back. When Blue Star is operating, he pays great attention to details, such as wearing a mask so that others cannot recognize his true identity. When Yabai came back, he happened to watch Su Qingfeng cooking a barbecue dinner. After hearing this story, Yabai sighed with emotion. This big crab comes from Shura's exclusive space. It is genuine and fair. Has my sheep been fleeced by someone else? Yabai pointed at a big, lively crab and asked seriously. Account, it seems that it is indeed this account. You translate for the translator, what's going on? However, Yabai always felt that something was strange. Su Qingfeng glanced at him, "Are you sick?" Xuemeng said vaguely. "His NTR." Su Qingfeng ignored Xuemeng and continued to greet people to come over to eat fresh barbecue. "I paid for it." Immediately afterwards, Yabai realized something more important. Su Qingfeng lowered his voice and said. Su Qingfeng first said some upright words, then lowered his voice and explained to Shura in a low voice. "The seafood you produce is sold more expensively at Xuemeng's, but he refuses to buy it directly. As a middleman, won't I give you back the money I make as a middleman? Old Su, you are not authentic." "I have a cough." "Yabai." "It's okay, no problem. Old Su, I can understand that you packed up hundreds of millions of seafood and took it away. I promise someone to be an upright person. Although his strength is slightly weaker, he is still upright and upright. This income is not small. It seems that there is a 9th-level war god who has spent all his savings on buying seafood." Looking at Xuemeng who kept coughing in the distance, Yabai didn't know what to say for a moment. Xuemeng doesn't know. A breeze blew past him, and Shura fell into silence as he looked at the lively seafood on the grill. With that said, Su Qingfeng began to put all kinds of fresh seafood on the barbecue stall, which was very luxurious. "How can you waste money on Shura's seafood? The outsiders have finally left, it's better for us to eat." Xuemeng, who was sitting next to the barbecue stall, started coughing crazily. Only then did he remember that one of the income from his exclusive space was indeed from the sale of specialty products on the ice sheet. Su Qingfeng explained. "Is it really okay for you to treat Xuemeng like this? Is this plot really something I can watch without spending money? Lao Su still owes Shura money.